Hi guys, my name is Jeremiah Langsfeld and I'll be presenting on human papillomavirus, also known as HPV. So a little bit of background about the virus is that it was discovered in 1956 by a group of scientists, and in 1984 Harold Zerhausen attributed this virus to many different types of cancers. Now it got its name through papillomas, which are also known as warts, as depicted on the right side of the screen over here. So what is HPV? HPV is a sexually transmitted infection, and it comes from the Papoviviridae family. Now, it is a double-stranded DNA virus, and it's characterized by this L1 capsid, which surrounds the DNA. And this particular HPV directly infects skin cells, more specifically the stratified squamous epithelial cells. In regards to its prevalence, there are more than 100 different strains of HPV, and the CDC states that 79 million Americans currently have HPV. They also state that 14 million new cases occur each year. And another fact is that 50% of men and 75% of women between the ages of 15 and 49 are going to be infected with HPV at some point in their life. So the transmission of HPV is contact transmission through skin to skin, and this is often during vaginal, anal, and oral sex. Sexual intercourse doesn't necessarily have to occur to spread the infection. There just needs to be some sort of contact. You can spread HPV even when you don't have any visible symptoms, though it's less common. And humans are the reservoir for HPV. Now, another way to get HPV is passed on through childbirth, and it is important to know that that's very rare. And also, you cannot get HPV from sitting on a toilet seat or a swimming pool with someone infected with HPV, or from another person's bodily fluid. It's simply through contact. Now we're going to discuss a little bit about the different strains of HPV, and I mentioned earlier that there are over 100. And 40 strains, of around 40, have been known to infect the genital area. And these strains affecting the genital area are split into 3 different groups: no risk, low risk, and high risk. Now, in the no risk strains, most people don't know that they are infected with HPV, and they show no symptoms. In these no risk strains, they go away in about 1 year, and they rarely last more than 2 years. Now, in low-risk strains, these are associated with genital warts, over here in this image right here. And about 360,000 people in the United States each year have genital warts. That's 1 in 100 sexually active adults. High-risk HPV is directly associated with different types of cancer. Now, cervical cancer is the most prevalent, and about 12,000 women in the United States currently get cervical cancer each year, and around 4,000 of those women will die. Now, other high-risk strains can cause oral, anal, vaginal, vulvar, and penile cancers. So we're going to discuss a little bit more about HPV and cancer itself. The cancer often takes years, maybe even decades, to develop in a person after they are infected with HPV. And the same strains that cause cancer from HPV are not the same strains that will cause genital warts. Also, there is no way to know which people who have HPV will develop cancer or other health problems. It's usually people with weak immune systems. And HPV cancers also include cancers of the cervix, vulva, vagina, penis, and anus. It can also cause cancer in the back of the throat, though that's very rare. Now, 70% of these cancer cases are caused by strands 16 and 18 of the HPV virus. And the CDC notes that 31,500 people will be affected by HPV cancer every year. And the most prevalent type of cancer, as mentioned earlier, is cervical cancer. The hallmark symptoms of HPV are that, first of all, most people with HPV never develop any symptoms at all, and 9 out of every 10 people the symptoms will go away within the symptoms will go away within 2 years. But a hallmark symptom is that people will get genital warts, which they look like they can be skin colored or whitish bumps that show up on the vulva, vagina, cervix, penis, scrotum, or even anus. And they kind of look like little pieces of cauliflower, as you can see here. You can have just one genital wart, or you can have many of them. They can be big or small. They can usually be itchy, but they definitely do not hurt. It's important to know that not all bumps are genital warts, and to talk to your doctor to see if they are. And also, it can take several weeks, months, or even years after you have sexual contact with someone from when the genital warts will show up, and that's why it's hard to know who gave you HPV in the first place. Now, other symptoms are that it can be a reoccurring issue. You can have genital warts and they can go away, and then a few years later you can get the warts once again. In regards to treating HPV, there is no cure for HPV, so once you are infected, there's nothing the doctors can do for you, except they can treat your symptoms, and in particular they can treat warts, and they can do this through several different ways. They can do it through prescription topical creams, cryotherapy, which is essentially freezing the warts off. That is this bottom picture over here. They can also use electric current burn, where they will literally burn the warts off. And they can also do loop electrosurgical excision procedure, where they're essentially removing the warts with a knife or a wire or some form of electricity, and they get rid of the abnormal cells on your skin. Now, the methods of prevention, the most effective way is abstinence. And the CDC recommends that people have safer sex and use condoms, though condoms does not ensure that you are protected from HPV, because so long if there is skin-to-skin contact, you can still get the virus. However, there are 3 different types of vaccines for HPV: Gardasil, Gardasil 9, and Cervarix. Now, all of these vaccines will protect against HPV types 16 and 18. The 2 types that cause 70% of cervical cancer cases. And Gardasil will protect you from type 6 and 11, which cause most cases of genital warts. Also, Gardasil 9 protects against 5 different types of HPV, specifically those strains that can give cancer to regions such as the cervix, anus, and vulva and vagina. Now, these HPV vaccines are given in a series of shots, and the CDC recommends that all children at around the ages 11 through 12 receive this vaccine, so that during their sexual active years they are completely protected from HPV. And there is my works cited page. Thank you very much.